Do you ever open your closet and think, why did I buy that? I definitely have, a lot. But not since shopping with Quince. I see fewer misses and a lot more hits that I'll be wearing season after season. Quince has all the seasonal must-haves, like 100% European linen shirts from $30, performance polos, and versatile activewear. The best part of all, Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of all the middlemen and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. I really like that. I just got 2 shirts. I ordered a third. It's coming in a week. I got 2 shirts. I just got them a couple days ago. The quality is unmatchable. I love them. They feel great. They fit great. That's why you got to shop at Quince. Fill your closet with timeless pieces that you'll be wearing for summers to come with Quince. Go to quince.com/Bubba for free shipping on your order and a 365-day return policy. That's QUINCE.com/Bubba to get free shipping on your order. And again, the 365-day return policy. Quince.com/Bubba. This is your fucking president.
Shannon's on
having to tell Shannon, I just literally fucking got here. I've been on the air 8 seconds, and you're already telling me. Can you just give me a few fucking seconds, Lummy? Just to get my shit together?
Yeah, I'm just letting you know he's there.
Okay,
He just didn't want to be late. That's all you were saying.
So it looks like the only place we are right now is on Twitter/X. Tell Shannon I'll be with him in just a minute. I got to get my fucking bearings, okay, buddy?
I told him he can hear you.
All right, thanks. And I'm trying to pull the feed up. Here we go. I got it right there. Boom. Let me see it, bro. Turn the volume down. This has got a real fucked up feel to it already, does it not?
What? The show or the vibe?
Everything. Jesus Christ.
I just want you to be happy.
I think this is the vibe that CNN wants to create. So I swear to God. Hold on. Shannon, are you there?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Let me see if I got my CNN feed. Or at least the audio feed.
He doesn't like her. But when you actually look at this...
All right, okay, boom. There we go. Welcome to the 2024 presidential, the first of, are they doing 2 of these things supposedly?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Shannon is here. Seth is here. Brian is here. Fuck. Is it me? Lummy, how long have you been in here?
Since 8:30.
Have you seen how irritating he is to me?
He looks like he's getting on your nerves.
Like, oh my God, like I'm back here fucking steering this. Like if I was flying the 747 and I got this little fucking twink of a fucking flight attendant that's just fucking with me as I'm trying to land this plane nonstop.
You're not talking about Babyface, are you?
Yeah, I am talking about Babyface, and he's on. I gotta turn his mic on here. All right, there you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were a pretty good pilot, but
you can see how much of a good pilot I am. I'm gonna have the fucking authorities waiting for you when we land, and if you fucking yoked up.
Bubba, he showed up. He showed up ready to go though. He's wearing a USA soccer shirt. He's wearing some sort of a USA hat. It looks like he's wearing Taurus sandals. You already gave him that monster with the alcohol in it. Like the guy's ready to party.
Right. We got Lummy here. We got Shannon Burke. We got Seth. We got Rhett, who's a nervous wreck like I am. We got Dr. Diaco, and we got Babyface. Yeah, Dan's here too. Yes.
Oh,
what's up, Shannon?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
And Shannon, are you familiar with how much we're now regulated on to having? We have over 612 people on our X/Twitter. That seems to be the only place that we can do this right now. Have you seen the scuttlebutt as to how CNN is just trying to really, really fuck the average the average guy like me and you that's got a show, a little bit of a platform? They are trying to lock this thing down, and quite frankly, I think this might be the demise of CNN.
Oh, yeah. This in the the 2-minute delay is concerning to me. That means that, if you have a hot editor in there, the guy that's good with some editing, in that 2 minutes, he can erase some horrible, stupid stuff.
I didn't know it was a 2-minute delay.
They went from 7 to 2 minutes just about an hour ago.
What, 7 seconds, right?
From 7 seconds to 2 minutes.
Why would you do that?
You know
that
why.
way they can control the content.
In case Biden fucking spazzes out, they can edit it out, Bubba. You know what the fucking truth is.
I'll tell you why they do it, to get you guys all riled up and your panties in a wad. Like there aren't going to be people there to know what was actually said.
There's not, Brian.
No, they're not.
Trump's there.
Brian.
He can watch the replay and be like, they edited this out.
You think anyone's going to believe him?
You think anybody's going to believe him?
You're not going to believe him.
The people who would matter to him would.
No, okay, so we've gone from there's going to be a bunch of people there to the people that would matter. No, motherfuckers, they're not even letting people in the there's nobody allowed there. Nobody.
Yet there's still going to be about 100 people there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no way they can edit it out. It would be totally called out if they were editing it live.
There's 31 fact checkers, the 2 moderators, the 2 debaters. There's 35. Plus, there's got to be at least 20 of the crew. There's another 20, 50 people. That's another 55.
You got 3 Gumars.
Plus, exactly, at least. Plus, there is some media there. So there'll probably be about another 40 people of media. They got
to have a phlebotomist there to administer the drugs.
Right, the phlebotomist. They're going to have the backup Biden. He's on the charger right now.
It would be nice if Biden was spry enough to snort his drugs like Trump, but unfortunately he needs his injected.
No, Biden needs his stuck up his asshole like Stevie Nicks.
Biden needs stuff that isn't even out yet. He's got the stuff.
Who doesn't, Brian?
He's got the stuff that they're developing down in Guatemala.
So just to be clear, we're only on our Twitter page.
We're on Bar 2 now.
We're on where?
Bar. BAR.
Bubba Army. Can you please?
Oh, cool.
Bubba Army Radio.
Bubba Army Radio.
Thank you, Lummy.
Yes.
And then we would be on Rumble, but I mean, their site literally does not have the infrastructure for all the people trying to watch the debate over there.
And the reason why is because CNN has locked this thing down and scared everybody like me and other broadcasters that they will. Didn't they, Rhett, require that if you were going to play the video? I was reading some kind of article where you had to go and get a special player to be able to play the video feed.
Yeah, if you're going to share it or if you're going to promote it, it has to be the embedded CNN feed.
Right.
So it'll have to be an embedded video to either their website or their official YouTube stream.
And they didn't want anybody to do any news and commentary as it went along. They wanted to make sure that didn't happen.
They claim that they were even cracking down on just audio coverage, which I think is the part that's a little egregious.
And I mean, like,
because I can understand not wanting to redistribute the video stream. I totally get that all day. But the audio, I mean, there isn't a radio station in the country that isn't going to be playing this audio tonight.
Right. And what about the 2 commercial breaks? That to me seems
Joe's got to piss.
As hell.
Joe can't wear his bag on the side of his hip tonight because it'll look poofy on his trousers. So
that's not that big of a deal, though. Do you think so, Shannon?
Well, because you're profiting off of a very important American.
Yeah, but they got to go to the bathroom.
Tradition.
They both do.
In 1 hour.
What is another debate ever taken a commercial break?
1 hour, like 1 hour. You can't hold it for an hour. I mean,
These are 80-year-old dudes.
Yeah, they got prostate, bro. They got prostates the size of grapefruits.
I'm going to piss 9 times
they
tonight.
Pee 4 times a night.
Yeah, but hold on. Why not take?
I can't hold it an hour.
I mean, here's why they're taking 2 breaks, Shannon. One, because Joe needs to piss.
Yeah,
but 2,
and shoot up a second dose.
That and
They're
hold on.
He's gonna get coaching.
Think about the amount of eyeballs think about your commercials, how much you're charging for you want 2 breaks so that you can run 3 or 4 minutes of ads that people are this
Pfizer ads and Moderna ads.
It would be interesting to see what CNN share would be
it's going to be monster.
They got to start running Gavin Newsom's campaign ads in the middle of this.
All right, so hold on.
He's there. He's in the spin room.
All
right
so
now,
everybody hold on. There's 45 seconds left. They're both taking the stage right now. So I figured, here.
Can I just say, I don't care about politics, but I'm so jacked for this show because everybody's on fucking fire tonight, including Lummy, who said William Taft was the most handsome president of all time.
we were debating who the best-looking president ever was.
I think it is Obama. Right?
It is definitely Obama.
right?
And Ronald Reagan's second, I think.
Yeah, he was a handsome guy.
He's a handsome dude. He was old when he was in office, but he's still sexy.
All right, so we got 14 seconds left. Shannon Burke standing by on the Comrex. You guys can see it, right? Can you guys see it?
I'm watching it.
Feed,
Yeah,
right?
I'm listening to your feed on that I get my headphones.
So this really started 2 minutes ago?
Well, Dan, let's not get fucking technical now, okay? I mean, Jesus Christ. We're going to start arguing about that. Here we go. Let's take it live to Atlanta.
Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the White House. In just moments, the current U.S. president will debate the former U.S. president as their party's presumptive nominee.
Yeah, this is the first. Yeah,
in American history.
Yeah.
We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world.
Earliest one they've done, too.
Earliest?
Earliest
by
debate
far.
I think they've ever had. By like 2-3 months.
Yeah. Well, they got to figure out if Biden's going to be replaced.
Yeah, you got to make it to a second.
Tonight's the big, whether Joe makes the cut or not.
I think so, too.
These two fuckers right here.
Oh, fuck you.
You're so angry, Bubba.
I would dive into the lap face first.
How did two moderators end up moderating a debate that both compared Trump to Hitler? I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Who should they have compared him to? Gobbles?
It's Goebbels, by the way.
Yeah, it's
not Gobbles.
Yeah, you dumb fuck. Trying to be smart and shit. All right, here we go. Hold on.
Gandhi.
Jack Tapper and Dana Bash are oh yeah, that too. Fuck it.
Dana Bash's ex-husband signed the CIA letter about the laptop. By the way.
Here we go.
President Biden will be appearing on the right. A coin toss determined their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response is at the moderator's discretion.
It's going to be interesting. How that goes.
His microphone will be turned on, and his opponent's microphone will be
I
turned
do like
off.
that.
Should a candidate interrupt when
you
his
would, lib boy.
is muted, he will be difficult to understand.
You know what they should do? They should put shock collars, dog shock collars on their. No,
it's like a lawsuit
on their
because
balls.
you can't talk to each other.
Hold on.
Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate.
Are those Joes internally wired with an IFB?
Candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Oh, and look, he already looks stiff.
Hold on. He's a little stiff. His hands aren't moving.
No respect for our president
It's
at
a good
all.
thing the moderators have a list but no chin.
Oh boy!
Check out his
And please welcome
pupils.
the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Oh, I don't know that he looked a little stiff.
He doesn't have any swagger. Where's his swag?
He looks mad as fuck. Like
He needs a live audience.
He looks mad as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, he is mad.
Here we go.
The debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were?
Joe. Hold on.
I was left when I became president.
What?
What Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right.
Wow.
The economy collapsed.
Man, was he screwed?
Not a great start.
Isn't it called timber? Your timber of your voice, Dan?
Yeah.
He has no timber.
What we began to do. We created 15,000
He sounds like
a dying. Oh my God, he sounds like shit.
This is great.
New manufacturing jobs. There's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble.
He didn't expect this question.
I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come across
that's a bingo issue right there.
Table if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole
Is he
range.
trying to whisper?
That's why I'm working so hard to make sure.
Oh, he's trying to save it for 4 quarters. He's out of gas.
He's not trying to press in the first quarter.
2 million new units.
Hey, hold on.
We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination
this is
that I was
bad.
left with in corporate corporate greed is the reason why we're in this problem right now.
Oh, he's totally
In addition to
scripted.
that, we're in a situation where
I just want to hear Tron. Do not want to miss Trump's right out of the box.
He didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we.
He's done. He's fucking done.
We brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people.
Insulin.
To $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200.
Actually, Trump
sounds terrible.
Actually, fact checking. Trump had it down to 35 before he left office.
I wanted to see it in fact checkers. Will
right,
catch that. Everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you, President Trump.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, a bounce-back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you, President.
Hold on, measured?
Well,
no, it was good.
Economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he's the greatest economy in the world. And, the fact of the matter is that we find ourselves in a situation where...
He's reading this. He's reading this.
Well, he wrote notes. He doesn't have pre-notes.
He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's had lost
did
jobs.
Biden get some Botox in the chin? He's got like a Botox ass chin.
I think he had a chin implant that moves around.
Peter Griffin chin.
When he was president,
Dan said the official statement from the plastic surgeon is he's got a chin implant that moves around.
He's like a mouth under his mouth that's talking.
They're hoping that one can work when it's first, when the top one won't. Listen, Joe, you got two mouths. If the first one up top doesn't make, we got your bottom up. By their.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
He's doing duck lips.
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you.
Biden, clear your throat, dude.
Yeah, no.
Get this guy a Werther's Original.
The US.
There you go.
How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce-back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. Now, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months.
Look at Joey.
And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before. And we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died.
That's actually the most in it he's looked the whole time.
True. Fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it. Something which a lot of people don't like to
hear
talk
this
about.
One.
But he had
Joe's going to freak out on this one.
In his administration, he did the mandate, which is a disaster.
Scared.
Mandating it.
Here we go.
The vaccine
He sounds scared.
His admin did have a lot longer time to deal with COVID.
Objected to about the vaccine, and he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent. All of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country. And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America.
He corrected himself. He did catch it.
In fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in the 10-year period.
He corrected himself again.
Wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help.
Shut up, blue bitch.
All those things we need to do: child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with.
Yes. He's done.
We finally beat Medicare.
Oh, no.
Thank you, President.
Oh, he's done. He's done. He's done. Brian, he's done.
That's it. That's it.
He's done.
That's the snippet. That's the 10-second snippet that you play as a campaign ad.
You're right.
Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed.
And I think so far, Trump looks pretty dialed in.
Trump is doing exactly what he needs to do. Look presidential.
Yes.
Don't be an asshole.
Yes.
Don't kick the poor old man while he's down and look like a bully.
Be strong for the country.
Be firm and in your positions. And he actually is taking positions.
Yes.
It's not just bombast.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. Just one-liners.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions.
Now, this is a CNN helpful recovery question for Biden.
You're right.
You just fucked up. Here's your softball. This is your topic, Biden. We'll help you with this.
Yes. Which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills.
Which I'm all for, by the way. More pills, the better.
Of all abortions.
I think all women should have 10 pills in the counter at all times.
Right, in case of emergency break class.
Yeah.
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking,
they tried to throw him a curveball, and he just nailed it.
51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people.
Jesus, he looks lost.
Like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, but you know what? Trump's nailing it.
Yeah, but sure, Biden looks like a deer in the headlights.
Frankly,
hold on. I can't wait for Joe to get this question because Donald kind of
no. This is going to be Biden's one good one.
I don't know because
we'll see.
Because I think Trump handled it far more liberal than they thought.
You have to own it.
All right, hold
Trump.
on. Here we go.
But you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth.
Jesus! I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby.
That's what he said.
What happened is we brought it back to the states.
Oh,
and
I got one on my bingo.
Coming together.
Kill babies.
It's been a great
kill babies.
Here
we go.
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant.
What?
They talk about that.
This isn't
Here's
even
the deal. There's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses.
Oh, man.
Brothers and sisters.
Boy.
Oh, my God, Brian. Brian, how about, hey, Brian, remember that thing you said? Remember that thing you said was going to be a softball for him? Remember that? The CNN was going to lie about
There's no way you can fuck that one up if you're Biden.
He just did. He brought immigration into it. And got fucking lost down. He got lost down his own fucking rabbit hole.
I look forward to Gavin Newsom against Trump in the next debate.
I told you, Trump. I told you.
Hold on.
Killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting.
He brought the worst thing that's happened on the immigration deal.
I know,
and he folded it into the abortion deal.
Because he's so fucking gone. He's
so
gone.
Fucking
He's
gone.
gone.
Which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which, frankly, they didn't.
He's done.
He's done, Brian.
He's done. The Democrats will pivot. There's there is no fucking way.
Are there phone calls being made right now?
Every text going through. Everybody is like this right now.
Barack,
in Democratic Central and the Clintons and
George
Soros and Bill Gates and all the Democratic
Trump's guys have their feet up on the couch.
Yeah. I'll let you do that. This is the same topic.
Yeah.
7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion.
Look, he looks like he's fucking.
Do you support any legal limits?
He looks like he's going to cry.
A woman should be able to terminate pregnancy.
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first
3
time
trimesters.
Between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor. Between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians.
Brian,
it's over. It's over. If they don't get off of the Biden tip, it's over.
Wait, what if he shows his cock though? Can he recover?
No. Only.
Yes. Especially if it was big.
Only Eric Andre can save Biden right now.
Hold on.
With the show your dick thing.
Hold on.
Take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia. Put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
You're lying. That is simply not
hold
true.
on, man. The first person to break the fucking mic rule was Biden, right?
Right. That's the only circumstance where that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period.
Bullshit.
Period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want.
Not after the baby's born,
you can do whatever
though.
you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, Constitutional Scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away.
It was the law of the land.
They said that about slavery for 90 years. It was the law of the land.
He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress,
never should say
and
that.
they pass a universal ban on abortion, period.
They're not
across
gonna.
the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very...
No, let the state determine it.
You going to sign that bill?
We're getting ready to vote on it in November here in Florida, right? I mean, let us determine it.
Immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that...
Yeah, because they don't have to work.
No, he's talking about the bipartisan bill.
They can kick their fucking car.
The bipartisan bill that included a bunch of pork money.
Every bill has pork,
anything.
Shannon.
It wasn't
Come
stopping
on.
anything.
Come on, every bill has pork. So
Right.
we shouldn't do anything.
No.
Yes, that's
So
why
we should do nothing.
bills. That's why you
So we shouldn't
pass
do
bills
anything.
with pork.
Okay.
We should have been doing...
Incentivize.
Okay, every bill has pork. Every bill.
It incentivizes. Instead of stopping the problem, it was adding more people to deal with the problem.
Hold on.
On the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of this. We have the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me.
But I said
it.
But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it.
Dan's
and
a
people
dick.
are
I won't
dying
say
all over
that,
the place,
but...
including the people that are coming up in
Thank you, President
caravans.
Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration.
This is a joke.
Soldiers. Killed 3 American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating. He's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration,
Wendy's
that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world, and it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, People are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And
he needs
you're
something with a better ring to
like
it.
These three incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country.
But he didn't
Just
say
take a look
how.
at where they're
He was
living.
asked how.
They're
and
living in luxury hotels.
He's not answering it.
In New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans.
No
taking
answer.
care
Biden
of the
truly?
VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved.
He is
that I got through
Shannon, what
Congress.
you see right now
All
is a
of the
guy
different
trying to
things I
remember
approved.
and
They
go to his
Right.
next line,
Right.
and he
By
cannot
far the highest, and now
recall.
it's down to less
He
than half
cannot
because
recall
he's
it.
done all these great
Biden
things
hasn't
we
blinked
did.
in 28
And I
minutes.
think
He
did
really
it
hasn't.
because
I know, it's crazy.
which is
He's got more Botox
No, he
in his
just blinked. He
forehead.
just blinked. We got a Biden
Okay,
blink.
he's back. He's back.
All of these
He had to
people
reboot.
come in.
Hold on.
And it's a very sad day.
Here we go. We
So
gotta
no
hear this.
answer from
Here we
Trump
go.
on that question
Hold
as to
on.
how he's actually going to do it.
fact checker.
For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better
Cough.
since
Hold
I passed
on.
the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq.
Well, let's not talk about your son.
Let's get back with States worldly above.
So about the laptop,
I was
the cocaine, hookers,
We're up on Rumble.
back tax.
For the
Oh, you
full
are?
day.
Yep.
All right, great.
And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to.
Another
He was
lie.
standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker.
Oh, yeah.
You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Oh, what are we in third grade?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taking
Well, he did
better
say
care.
with
So glad this
McCain that
came
he
up,
likes his
and he
soldiers
brought
that
it
don't
up.
get captured.
Right.
He
So-
didn't say the
That was a
quote
different
he's saying.
instance. That was a different
No,
instance.
I know, but he's saying how
think
could
that I would
how could I have
He's
possibly
saying
said that?
in front of other
Suckers
generals.
and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him.
Good Joe,
Just
he's
like
lost.
Russia was made up. Just like the 51 intelligence agents are
Right.
made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents
He doesn't
said
know about that.
the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That
One of them
came
was
from
Dana
his son,
Bash's ex-husband.
Hunter. It
Yeah.
wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
General Stanley was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year.
I will tell you, man, I'm pretty happy with CNN's question so far.
John
They-
Kosika, $100.
They look fair.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John, for you. Hold on.
We are
and Ukraine abandoned
almost 5,000
its bid
viewers
to
on
join
Twitter right now,
NATO.
Bubba.
Wow.
Are Putin's terms
Awesome.
acceptable
Here we
to
go.
you?
Here we go.
First of all,
Look at this here.
our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight.
Okay.
And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew that
Brian's
was
so
respected
fucking
by
flipped
Putin,
out on this.
he would have
Did you hear what
never invaded Ukraine.
What?
Bubba, he just said this is like watching your mom get raped on the 50-yard line at the Super Bowl.
That's great. Oh,
That is awesome.
Hold on here.
Embarrassment.
This is like watching your mom get raped and the 50-yard line at the Super Bowl from the staunchest Democrat we have in the room.
It's like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love laws.
How the fuck are they running him, dude?
No general.
He's not even functioning out there. Give me a fucking break.
Hey, Fetterman did worse, and he won.
Fetterman's in better shape. Fetterman would destroy Fetterman.
He couldn't talk. I watched the debate. He couldn't fucking talk.
Yeah, but Fetterman's
No, but
better now.
Fetterman's
way better now. Way better now.
Way better now.
He could not talk.
But they were voting on potential.
All right, hold on.
Imagine what Herschel Walker would sound like today.
Here we go.
What fucking country do we live in, dude? This is ridiculous.
He never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration.
True.
This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
$250 from Jake Tolino. Dr. Dan for president. Brian for vice president.
We're in a situation where let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops.
Including the president.
He did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing.
What report is this? Like, what's this?
Number two.
Never even heard of this.
Over 100,000 Americans.
I love a great deal just as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals or go out of my way just to save a few bucks. And if I am, man, it's got to be easy. No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile says it's easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I'm going to call them out on it. Turns out, it's really that easy. It's that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. The longest part of the process was the time I spent on hold waiting to break up with my old provider. That's a nightmare. Wish everything was as easy as Mint. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk-to-text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your old phone number with you, along with all of your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer with your 3-month premium wireless plan for only $15 a month, you must go to mintmobile.com/Bubba. That's mintmobile.com/BUBBA. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Bubba. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower on 40 gigabytes on unlimited plans. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you if people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else? Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
It's almost like a microwave. This has been reported in Cuba and other areas that they're targeting diplomats and military personnel with these frequencies that are causing
sound wave weapon.
And it's true.
Do whatever you want. And do whatever you
It's
want.
why Trump closed the border, closed travel from the U.S. into Cuba, which was the right move.
Do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute. I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started.
Okay, but what are you going to do about it?
Well, let him answer it.
He had one chance.
He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's giving
Biden's not like my mom to me. I was being
funny. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever.
He's the greatest salesman ever.
I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war.
But what is your solution?
And we shouldn't be spending. It should have never happened. I will have that war settled
How?
between Putin and Zelensky.
Doesn't matter.
As president,
He's saying he's going to do it. Look at Joe. Look at Joe. Joe's baffled. Look. It's like, how can he do that?
He's not going to tell him how he's going to do it, Brian.
Biden looks like he's ready to walk away.
Hold on.
President Biden, you have a minute.
Hurry up.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine.
We know, Joe. We know
That's what he wants.
We know.
And then do you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact...
You ought to find out what he's going to do if you want a war.
He's talking about Trump. He's saying, what are you going to actually do about it? Which is a legitimate question.
Right. Nobody wants Belarus.
Give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
That's a lie.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people.
This should be great. You're right, Shannon. By the way, Shannon Burke standing by, Comrex. Dr. Dan, Brian,
Americans.
Seth,
Israel's
myself, Lummy,
killed
Rhett.
thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Trump, Dana Bash, Jake
President
Tapper.
Biden,
Still haven't seen Biden.
You've put forward a proposal.
Don't know where he is.
He's waking up.
We got some guy
Brian.
that's doing a weekend at Burning's gimmick.
Has not released
Hold on here.
the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive.
There's so many phone calls being made right now, but they're
so hard. These questions are so hard.
To get Hamas and Israel to end the war. You have 2 minutes.
Up to 5,300 on Twitter.
Everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward.
What is it?
Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas, number one. They're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened? In Israel, we're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack
look at his whole hand.
on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world.
We're the biggest producer and supporter.
He was trying to say proponent.
Hey, Bubba,
he missed it.
His plan's not going to happen.
We continue to send
Hamas won't give up their leverage.
Right, I know.
How they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second.
Yes, please.
We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
Oh, Trump just called fucking Biden a Palestinian.
Well, he called him names.
He's going to stay in NATO.
Hold on.
He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we have our strength lies in our alliances as well. It may be a big ocean, but
it would be a mistake to pull out of NATO.
In Europe, a major war in Europe. What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places.
You just said that.
Then he has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
I mean, Biden, Trump did bring it back to Ukraine.
You're right. To support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace.
Nikki Peel, $250.
Oh, man. Hot-ass wife.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with
See,
the
he's
European
dodging
nations.
all these foreign
because if you add
policy
them up,
questions.
Palestine has never agreed to a single two-state solution ever.
No, but
Israel has every single time.
They don't want anything
Palestine
that we
has
have.
denied it.
But he has dodged every one of these questions.
Their agriculture. I changed.
I mean, he
that.
doesn't have to do much to beat Biden at
changed
this
is they don't
point.
wanna pay.
He's already beat him. He can go to sleep or he can leave this debate right now and the fucking thing is over.
He can take a dump in the middle of the stage and still win.
He could literally say, you know what, I'm not going to continue this because at this point it's elderly abuse.
But you know what?
That's what he can say.
Hold on, though, but hear me out.
No, hear me first. It's my show. Thank you, Brian. It's my show, and I'll say it first, and you can rebut me, okay, motherfucker? This ain't CNN where we both get equal opportunities, motherfucker. This is BNN, the Bubba News Network, bitch.
Glad your doctors woke you up.
Yeah,
you've been asleep this whole show, bitch. Like Biden, sleepy Bubba Clem back there, angry.
Someone get security in there.
2021.
Pretty much a Palestinian.
Capital to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of
I hate him
electoral
too,
votes.
Bubba.
As president, you swore an oath to.
I might let you just fucking swing on him, Dan. I really might.
Just give me the word.
I mean, I might let you just fucking punch him out like two white trash bitches at Walmart. I just fucking
violence.
Believe that, and let me tell you about
we get headlines. You know what? A political show gets in a fight over the presidential debates.
But the thing is, he recognizes that Biden has just dumped all over himself and thrown up and pissed all over himself.
I'm gonna quit this. I'm gonna quit this debate right now because it's elderly abuse from this point forward.
That's what he should. I said that this morning that should be his line.
We're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. That what happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional
By 80 seconds left, he means
your
of living for Biden
on
at
January
this
6,
point.
2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say.
Filmmaker?
But she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this.
True.
Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see.
I know what those people were going to do.
They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it, too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
True.
Joe, come on, nail it, Joe. Come on.
I encourage those folks to go up on Capitol Hill. Number one, I sat in that dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something.
Biden was there?
To call for a stop.
He said he was.
Instead, he talked
in a dining room.
People
what he said.
Patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. He went to every single court in the nation.
Oh, man.
I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court, and they said no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President
What a
Trump.
liar.
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there,
San Francisco,
with the fires all over.
Well, those are state issues. That's not federal, but whatever.
Been destroyed. When you look at all of the, they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately.
It's a federal issue because it's interstate crime.
About this
and
whole
federal
subject
buildings
is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee.
So why didn't Trump prosecute?
Basically, two horrible Republicans that are all.
He was president during that summer.
The president can't prosecute.
No, but his DOJ. Shannon, come on.
Because
he's
DOJ
blaming Biden for not going after them in Portland and Seattle.
The same DOJ that had been weaponized against him and produced fake dossiers and Russian.
The same DOJ that he appoints people.
President Biden, I want to give you a minute
To run.
The only person on this stage is a
4 years in.
felon is the man I'm looking at.
He said
The
it.
fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in
that's a man.
That's a buffer.
Yeah, where
CNN's just interfered with your internet.
Yeah, I mean, CNN's like
conspiracy.
This is a problem.
Editing.
And I bet you Biden's doing such a good job right now.
Oh yeah, he's killing it right now.
What the hell?
No, we just had some buffer issue.
Every one of those who were convicted was turned over desks.
That was a Democrat shutting it off. That's what it was. That was Bill Clinton pulling the switch.
When I asked him,
hey, CNN, man, this is going like shit. Turn it off.
First time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing to, will you denounce these guys?
God.
Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol?
Can't talk. Microphone's off. Dumbass.
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said,
here comes the Democrats,
quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. Wow. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir.
I think this is flipping Joe out because he knows, because Trump's really, denying some shit.
Well, Trump is performing exactly how I expected.
I know, but hold on.
It's simply a lie, number one.
But he gets Joe all fucking churned. Look, Joe's got the
Joe looks like the anti-crazy one.
Joe's got the grandpa finger out. Look,
it's wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant?
Wow. Gloves are coming off.
Hope the pants are next.
Fucking Inquirer.
I love it.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star.
Now, Bubba, you know that's not true.
That was a case that was started.
I have a large penis, very large, very thick.
When she was on the Bubba show, she said I was the best of all three rock stars.
To start that case, That case is...
She's a liar. I mean, I fucked her, but she's a liar. You know what I'm saying? I fucked her, but she's a liar, okay? Because she said, because I'm telling you right now, man, my penis
came
is...
over and over.
It's right. She came multiple times. Why do you think she came back to my place 2 other times? Never paid nothing for it.
I fucked her, but I'm not going to say I fucked her.
He thought he was going to damage me, but when the public...
I fucked her, but not as bad as Joe's fucking this country right now. You know what? I fucked that porn star about as good as Joe is fucking his right now. Yes, I'm guilty of fucking just like Joe is, except I fuck pussy, not the country.
Joe is fucked.
Right? That's what he just said. I fuck porn stars, not our country. Not our country.
I fuck porn stars, not you.
He can't win.
Yeah, exactly. Not U.S. Americans.
President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe
Keith from Ohio,
$250. Over 6,500 on Twitter.
Voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it?"
Like he mixes so many things.
Grouper Lips 25.
Like he brings stories up that aren't related to the question.
And this has been
debunked
so many times. Even Snopes changed their mind on it
recently.
Or find people. This is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense.
Suicide?
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out, because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question, the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing.
I mean, it's not
debate.
that, but
he made up the Charlottesville story.
You know, you can think it's not good, but it's not the worst
all
ever.
Over the place. Every
maybe
not even close.
In our lifetime,
the Charlottesville story, though.
In our lifetime,
go ask the Hoover people how great he was.
That's why Jimmy Carter is hanging on right now.
What I'm saying,
he wants to make sure he's not the worst.
He's
you know what though? Carter was set up with that whole Iran thing.
Hold on.
All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time, and the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those.
Does this stuff matter?
Carrying those torches.
But it's not true. It's been debunked.
Didn't deserve to be president at all.
Thoroughly debunked.
Trump should say, "Why are we talking about something that's been debunked?
Like
can we move on? And can we move on?"
Trump needs to carry the quote with him.
Occupying that,
yeah.
His own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of his 44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN.
Oh, we got our break. We get to talk to the people unfettered now. So, Bubba, first impressions.
Break and head to the little boys' room. I'll be right back.
What do you think? Yeah. Wait, Shannon just talked about why do they need breaks, and then he's running to the boys' room.
No, Shannon didn't say that.
He's going to the bathroom.
Yeah, Shannon's going to take a piss.
No, I know Shannon was all
at
about
the beginning of the show.
I thought he didn't.
Hey, wait a second.
All right, let's not get.
I had a 12-pack tonight.
All right. So let's not.
Shannon said he's 60.
I hope Biden had a 12-pack.
Hey, Seth, you got any more chocolate?
All right, so we have limited time here, guys.
All right,
to talk about first of all, Brian asked me what I thought so far.
Yes, what are your thoughts?
I thought, listen, I mean, I'm pro, more Trump than I am Biden. I think Biden. You even said it within the first.
The first question.
For his first
Game
opportunity he spoke. You threw your hands up oh my God, this guy. Whatever the Jesus juice they used for the State of the Union, they didn't quite get the concoction, dialed in this time. And I think that he is absolutely shitting the bed. I think Trump is being a little skirty, actually a lot skirty, but it's not hurting his swagger or his sharpness or his just mental capacity.
I think Trump exercised a lot of restraint. I mean, he's finally now saying, do you see this guy?
I think that the mic situation was brilliant for Trump.
Yes, I think it was very good. It's going very, very, very well for Trump. This is more fun than watching Brian's mom get fucked on the 50-yard line during the Super Bowl.
Slamming PBZ.
So,
50,
I mean, this is.
Is that weird? I've been
sad.
hard the whole debate.
Not at all. Is it weird? I've been hard the whole debate.
Yeah, me too, sad. That's just the way I live life.
Lummy, your thoughts?
Biden's fucked. I mean, it's plain and simple. Good thing you're voting for Trump too.
By the way,
I'm the biggest MAGA in here. Everybody knows that.
Let's go. I'd like to leave it you then Shannon. I'd like Shannon to be the close, if he's back
He's
from
rubbing one
pissing.
out.
But I'd like yours. I'd like your analogy of what what we've seen so far.
So Biden, complete and total failure. This was worst case scenario for him from a perspective, an absolute just failure to perform on the biggest stage. Trump, I will agree, has been measured, has been smart in not being the aggressor and looking like a bully, beating up an old feeble man. Definitely more prepared for this than Biden was. Also, the one knock against Trump, which is the one knock I've had against him the whole time, is what are his policies?
That's what I said earlier. He's gotten skirty, skirting the issues.
He just,
but that might be brilliant.
Well,
I mean, they can't hold him down
exactly.
much.
And we know his policy to an extent because we experienced 4 years of his policies.
Well, okay, so we
have an idea of how he thinks.
Real quick, he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Okay, now I will say the Affordable Care Act's not the most wonderful piece of legislation ever written, but it does prevent insurance carriers from not providing coverage to people for pre-existing conditions.
That could be done without Obamacare.
Hold on, but he has now had.
He supports that.
Can I finish talking? He's had now 8 years to present any sort of a replacement plan. He has presented nothing. So all I ask out of our soon-to-be President Trump here is, please, if you're going to continue to attack Obamacare, tell us what you're going to replace it with.
Why does it need to be replaced? Why does it need to be replaced?
He has been talking about destroying it. He tried to before McCain died and gave him the thumbs down vote.
Hold on. They're returning.
From Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed?
I knew a black guy named Kool-Aid.
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans and dealing with the
I'm proud of Trump's his measuredness. I really am.
He's doing great.
These corporations that collude.
And you know what? He doesn't look as orange, and his hair looks better tonight too.
You're right. We find that
other than lacking swagger when he walked out, he's been pretty good.
Just his walkout was the only thing that was a little crink, right?
It was humble.
That black families
awkward.
It looked awkward.
Is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child
He didn't want to be blamed for being toxically masculine.
In half. We're going to make sure we provide
walking out like a wrestler.
Costs.
Right.
Make sure
that's what Trump's worried about.
Provide those child care protections. You increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home so they can get started.
Well, that's real fair. It's real fair, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is.
That's real fucking fair. If I was Trump, I'd say, yeah, that's real fair, isn't it?
Low percentage right there.
Trump's not going to say anything to alienate black voters.
I know that. We did. I
don't think he can.
If they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Jeez. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Can anyone say he sounds
presidential? Well, fencing
50. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He causes
not living. All of them have died.
They've all died. Every black person is dead. I'm going to call Dion up, see if he answers the phone or not. Starnes, I was living about 15 minutes ago. Now I finally am at the pearly gates, Bubba. He said, I hope you change your ways so you can be with me. But I died with the presidential. I don't know who's coaching Colorado this year.
There's the millions of people that he's allowed to come in.
Poor Shador was with me. He was going to be another one pick.
18.
Man, we should really skip the show tomorrow.
Even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs.
Seth fighting for a day off.
You haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something.
Under what? Why?
That we're going to about to be in Trump's America. We have to mentally prepare.
You think Seth was sick this morning? He'll stop on the Howard Franklin
Seth,
tomorrow.
Do you think we could call Elise up and see what she thinks about this?
No.
Come on, Bubba. You don't have a hair on your balls if you
Seth
don't do that.
Seth would want that.
Thousands of millions of jobs.
Seth, what do you say?
Thousands of millions of jobs.
Let's call up your wife right now. See what she thinks at 10 o'clock.
Everybody needs to be quiet, please.
My wife ain't watching this.
I made sure that there are $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again. And they're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing anything, we put more police on the street than any administration has.
The idea.
John Kusika, $300.
Oh, my God, John, we love you. Valpo, Red.
Have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on. But in inflation, he caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Feasance?
Thank you.
Malfeasance, that's a word. It's a big word. I'm surprised he got it.
Bad intentions.
2023 was the hottest year in
best word he's
recorded
used tonight.
history, and communities across the country are
Global warming is not a thing.
intensifying.
It was hot as fuck today, Bubba.
We both arrived in private jets, so don't even tell me. The 747 that Joe's on's bigger than my plane. I'm just telling you.
As president to slow the climate.
He's got a bigger carbon. Let me tell you, of the two guys who had the biggest carbon footprint getting here, wasn't me.
We're missing gold from him.
Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump.
Over 8,000 on
every
Twitter.
Police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s,
you got to do a show tomorrow,
Super
Seth.
predators was
we have
his
new
name.
viewers.
And he called it to them for 10, and they've taken great offense at it. And now they
Joe's going to come back with a defense on the super
when they
predators.
See what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities, where I funded them and got them all funded. And the opportunity zones with,
weird that a black president
Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible.
Yeah, we had a black president who would even do that.
Senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country, opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever, the best numbers. He's lost much of the black population. because he's done a horrible job. For
Nobody's
black
living.
Remember, he killed him 2 minutes ago.
He just can't find him.
Wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers
We had water,
ever.
H2O,
And we did,
the best water
we
ever.
were using
The best water
most
ever.
thirst-quenching water you could ever have.
Bottled water industry was at an all-time low. People drinking out of
drinking water all day. I can't quench my thirst.
Here you go.
Bad
My
water.
top environmental people gave me that statistic.
So you can
just
tell the
before I
parts
walked
that he
on the
did
stage,
not
actually.
prepare for.
All right, hold on.
This.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea that anything he said is true. I've passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges. I came up with $15 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have those. They don't have the kind of contributors.
Colleges and universities, not university and colleges.
Trump did something for them.
He got all the words
right.
right.
Is capable in college of doing any white student can do. They just don't have the money, but now they'll be able to get those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done.
It'll be interesting to see if the media had the same spin as we do.
It's going to be, first of all, we are the media. Second of all, they absolutely will.
I think so.
Absolutely. You can't polish his turd.
Even when he nails a question, he can't.
He sounds awful.
He can't get it out.
He sounds awful.
Even when he nails it. Even when he nails it and does a good job and answers the question correctly, you don't know. It's jarble. It's just
the delivery is weak.
If he wins 2 rounds, they're unmemorable. You know what I mean? It's just the other one. Trump won 13 of the 15 rounds.
Here we go.
And I ended it because I didn't want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it. And it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors.
Yes.
I took care of the seniors.
He did.
What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people.
I mean, given his diet,
country.
I imagine that's
accurate. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
The idea is that we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything? We're not able to, the United States can't get its under control. One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By 2035, we will have
got a booger on the right-hand side.
We have made significant progress, and we're continuing to make progress. We set up a climate corps where thousands of young people will learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps.
Where's his wedding band?
We're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of cause.
No, that's his left hand.
Oh, yeah, right.
Wow, Shando.
Fuck you, Shannon.
I'm delayed for you guys. I am. I got like a 8-second delay from what you guys are hearing.
All right. I've not seen any indication.
His right hand was never up, though.
Well, he picked his nose with it.
Yeah, he did. He did pick his nose with it.
Jesus.
I want to see if Trump's wearing his wedding band. They've not seen it yet. Here we go.
One, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
so every day, millions of Americans
they cut him off.
Just to make ends meet. For many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
Yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making
that was a big softball, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old.
They even had the graphic ready. See it?
They're gonna, I've been proposing that.
First time.
Do you know who had this idea first?
Millionaires pay 1%.
The great, incomparable, God rest his soul, Dr. Joe Diaco. I remember having this conversation with him, and he said, I don't give a shit about paying my Social Security on my full income. I don't give a shit about that if it keeps it solvent for everybody else. And I remember Stephen having a debate with him about this very specifically and saying, Dad, but that's not fair. And he's like, who gives a shit? He's like, I don't need it. He goes, I don't need it. But to keep the system, he goes, our country needs Social Security. Our country needs Social Security to work. So, Dr. Joe...
R.I.P. Joe. We got to get back to
that. It's the first one that I heard say that idea, is what I'm saying.
He wanted to cut Social Security and Medicare, both times. And and if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports.
Almost 9,000 on Twitter.
Want to cut it as well.
8,800.
The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous.
We're almost 625. 625.
There we go.
Over 9,000.
Yeah, almost 10,000 people watching, listening.
As I said,
hard telling on BubbaArmyRadio.com.
At least
8,000 people.
You glad we're here, Bubba?
What's that?
You glad we're here?
Yeah, I am. I really am. Great idea, by the way. I'll give you a $5 bonus.
I'll fucking take it.
What about chopped liver down here? I'm 150 miles away.
And by the way, the other thing is,
shut up, Shannon.
We're going to send you merch.
Finally.
Burke show. Yeah. Would it kill you to send me a T-shirt?
The amount of money.
If Trump wins, you'll get a T-shirt.
$8,000.
Can't afford it otherwise.
$70,000.
You got these Brian shirts.
Here we go.
$15,000 toward the tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President
He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face. About so many other things, too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie.
Joe Rugg, because he lies like a rug. That's his new nickname.
The sucker story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it. Because millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals.
They're not earning Social Security. That's a lie.
Medicare, Medicaid.
But not Social Security, my friend. That's inaccurate.
Unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back.
The illegals actually help bolster Social Security
in our country before.
Austin Berger, 50 on the Venmo for Shannon.
Not being taken care of. I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump.
All right, both of you two fucks, quit being petty. Get to the issues.
In a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world. The reason why we have the most successful economy in the world.
It's because of immigrants?
We're doing better than any other nation in the world.
In part for a long time.
Nobel laureates he talked about being phony. Those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump
talked about this today.
Have tried to address this issue.
Almost have to get mine up for adoption.
The cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Kill the kids.
Did you see that? The general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very.
I'm tired of the fucking cleaning the other guy's shit up. I'm tired.
He doesn't have an answer for this.
Well, he's right here.
He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people.
Trump, you're getting
all the people I appointed to the position. I fired them all.
He's fucking up right now. He needs to answer the question.
Well, no,
instead of covering.
He has no answer.
Put Comey there.
I'm the best firer.
I fired him.
He has no answer for. That's the issue.
He should have fired every military man that was involved with that Afghan the Afghanistan.
Trump's getting
show,
lost now to here in the woods too.
I'd like to hear a real answer.
He's getting lost.
But he doesn't have to answer the question.
Did you fire anybody that's on the border? That's allowed us.
He doesn't have an answer to this. Okay, you can't ask him substantive policy questions. He has no answers. That is my problem with
mental
him.
institutions.
Zero
Did you
answers.
Fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here.
Armchair
and waste a lot of time
quarterbacking is
on this
easy.
debate. This
Solving
shouldn't be a
problems
debate.
is difficult.
He's the worst president.
I would like. They asked him about child care specifically, and he's going back.
He's
to,
nowhere near
like
it.
He's
on generals. He's talking about generals.
Listen, he's kind of fucking up right now. I'm just telling you. We have to be intellectually honest here. And he's kind of turned into the old Trump.
He wants open borders.
He's got to be a little bit combative.
I know he does, but you do have to answer the question too.
Yeah, I know, but this is such an irrelevant question to the big picture of what's happening in this country.
It's not irrelevant to Americans, Dan. You're out of touch. Ask Seth if it's irrelevant.
Right,
Ask Warren if it's irrelevant.
Coming out of this rut.
You're right,
we
Brian.
probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He is the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President
And child care.
And about that camp money, Mr. Trump.
There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck?
Oh, he's not answering the question, Brian.
Child care?
Child care, old man Biden?
No. He's not prepared.
No. Both of you know what? This is the moderators.
I'd shut off both their mics.
No, this is on I would say, gentlemen.
Yep.
Answer the question.
Agreed.
I would say that. Answer the question.
Do you think the average American cares about the fucking war in Ukraine or the cost of child care?
Or for them to go back and forth and say, you're the worst president.
Or
No,
their
you are.
general-
No,
I mean,
you are.
this is-
No, you are. You fired him. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No,
Look,
I didn't. Yes, you
look,
did.
Trump-
You're the worst. No, you are. No, you are. No, you know what? 159 motherfuckers said you are. No,
Nobody agrees.
you are.
Nobody debates it.
Oh, child care. How do I forgot the fucking question?
Women and men, single parents.
Oh, he's answering it.
And we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump,
Oh, there it goes.
affordable if you want to take a minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things they rate him the worst. Because
this is what pisses me off on Trump.
Yeah, this is what
because
this is where he loses me.
CNN gave him a chance to rebuttal. And he's not. That's what that's where he's fucking up.
All the polls.
Well, he has no.
This is nobody ever cut taxes
he has
like us.
He has no policy.
He's the only one I know. He wants to raise.
Then think of some shit.
He has
on
nothing.
the fucking fly.
He has
think
nothing.
of something.
4 times. He wants to.
I'll work with businesses that pay additional monies to their employees for child care. Pull something out of your fucking ass. You're a smart man.
What is his policy, Shannon? Name one he's named tonight.
Taxes,
name
as
one.
I said, we did more business. Apple
Name
and all
one
these
policy,
companies,
Shannon, that he's laid out tonight.
All right, let's let him answer the question. Let's listen to him.
The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
I mean,
everybody knows it.
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about. He's increased the tariff. He's increased.
CNN needs to be held somewhat accountable. In the fact that
I thought they would have this thing dialed in like corral.
I would say they haven't done terrible.
No, but
you can't get the guys to answer questions.
You have. Yes, you do. You say answer the question.
Well, and also they have their time to do as they choose.
$2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that we're importing. Number 2, he's in a situation where he talks
almost 10,000 on Twitter.
Not raised.
Fuck.
He's somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion.
It's just back and forth ping pong. You. How about you? How about answering some fucking questions up in here?
Because in American history, number 1.
They got to wait for
Number
real
2,
content,
we
Bubba.
have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress.
No, I got to drive home.
We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden.
You lost.
Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you,
pills are cool. I just want to let you know.
No, it's all going to be the border. It's going to be the border
for child care.
This is an immigration question.
Yeah, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to
blame
help
it on the border?
Americans
Blame it on the border.
Right now in the throes of addiction, who are struggling to get the treatment?
Blame it on the border.
To finish up,
No, not finish up. You should say no to not finish up.
So this is where Trump's ego comes into play, where he can't let anything go.
Money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the...
Answer the question, which is about opioids.
This is his ego. This is my problem with the guy.
Well, the opioids can be blamed on China.
But that's not what he's talking about.
That's not what he's talking about.
But
Hold
he
on.
hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money.
Just when you want to rally with him, he starts pulling this bullshit.
In the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they do.
This was a question on opioids, by the way.
Opioids. As a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
Well, China is where the fentanyl comes from.
Left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling?
He better
to get the
fucking completely.
Jake, we're doing very well at addiction.
We're about to lock up Hunter. That's one less addict on the street.
One of the biggest drug addicts in America.
For any country, in every way.
Slow half
and
the flow of
cocaine. Had to get tough.
Here we go.
And it was the drugs pouring across the border.
He needs to tie Hunter into this, don't you think?
We got great
10,000. Just hit 10,000 on Twitter.
It's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen. The way they can spot it. We did a lot, and we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers?
There's even been cocaine in the White House.
2 million people that I believe is
right?
even low.
It's the only time I ever wanted to visit.
They don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen. At numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is
I said blame it on the border, and he did.
By far.
President Trump, thank you.
Oh,
President
man, I just need somebody to say Hannibal Lecter, and I win bingo.
Hold on.
For a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically. No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have...
Mexico's working with us.
Right. That's what we have to do.
You do have to dance with Mexico.
Machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
He's giving a lead
as this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars
answer?
For the reporter. I will have him out
opioid
very
crisis.
quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases. We paid $6 billion for 5 people.
What is he talking about?
I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns.
Neither one of these fuckers have any answers for our
CNN
problems.
And CNN.
They tried. No, they tried. They went back to that question 4 times, and those fuckers refused to answer.
Then you know what they should do? Thank you for not answering the question. Appreciate it.
But then they get chastised.
Here we go.
Well, first of all,
I know what the fucking question is. Brian's drunk and crazy.
It's hot. Person in politics. I was the
hot in this studio.
Being old.
Ever elected to the United States Senate. And now I'm
Can you turn up the air?
This guy's
down?
younger.
You got hot, right?
Yeah, really hot.
I think that
I just did. Shut the fuck up and watch.
Watch what?
70 in my house.
15 million new jobs.
I want to go with Shando.
More investment in America.
Watch that fish tank.
I can turn your mic off right now. There you go. No problem. There you go. Brian's now officially with Shannon.
By the way, we brought an awful lot of people. The whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and then bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call it.
I don't know. I was hoping you'd guess.
That's what they should have said. What?
$40 billion.
Guess what? I mean, when somebody says, guess what are you supposed to say? What?
Americans all over the
I don't know. I was hoping you'd guess.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before.
Yeah. Because he never inherited the shit.
Brian, isn't this about addressing his 80s concerns with being president into his 80s?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, well, no,
he's not responsive.
He talked about chips.
Getting things done.
Maybe there's going to be a chip that comes along that lets you be president into your 90s.
Or maybe he has a chip in him and it's not working.
You got one of the cheap South Korean trips.
Those who he coddles up to, from Kim Jong-un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc., they don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
No, between the two here, you tell me.
I aced him. Both of them.
There's cognitive tests.
We made it public. He took none.
Bingo.
I'd like to see him take one.
Oh, there I got bingo!
Like, go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior.
He's like Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack.
Absolutely. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was.
Let's decide president by long drive.
Hold on here. I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
Joe.
He answered, Brian.
That's so awesome. 23 pounds, or 35 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was
what the fuck is going on?
I'm gonna listen to.
I'll fight you right now.
I told you before, I'm happy to play golf with your own bag.
God.
You can do it.
Where am I?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
Where?
He's got no iron skills at all.
Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn.
Let's not act like children.
What? Specific concern that voters have about
What? Actually, Joe's the one that kind of acted like a dick there.
Yeah.
Well, no, Trump brought up the long drive contest.
He asked him about 80.
The results of this election, regardless of who wins.
I shoot under my age.
You will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president.
Brilliant.
I should be on the beach sipping a pina colada.
I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III. And we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III.
I like proxy wars
and he's
myself.
driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all.
You said that earlier.
Required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major...
Looks like they just turned his anal vibrator on. His eyes are bulging out.
The job I've done.
Yeah, they're shocking him now.
They just woke up.
It's because of
like,
the people.
Whoa.
Not me, it's because of the American people.
Yeah, I wondered if during that break if they shot him up full of something.
Something
Something
just kicked in, and he's actually sharper.
Yeah, something just hit.
Something hit.
You want to have a war.
Yeah. I know the eyes are starting to droop now, though. Oh no, I mean
make sure they move on. See what happens in Poland.
By the way, RFK is now beating both these guys in the polls.
Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up,
that was a
The
good
question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me.
All right.
And
Will
he's
you
going to
accept
take
the
Ukraine.
election results?
And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this with... He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia.
Answer the question.
War.
Right.
He said, I will never
He hasn't
settle until
since the break.
I'm really...
Yeah, it's really bad. He started out great.
Many people. It's so sad.
He's like Johnny Rebuttal.
People, and they've lost those gorgeous
The problem for him is he's given Biden's people ability to spin. He didn't answer a single question.
Stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
You already
If it's
answered
a
it.
fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the
You can hear the producer in the IFB. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I'm getting that. What is that?
That's the producer in the IFB talking to the host.
Really?
Yes.
We're picking that up?
Yes.
But I will absolutely. There's nothing.
And it's to the host, and you can hear it. And they'll be like, "Tell him to answer the question." You can hear it.
Then
that was the first time tonight they've done that.
I wasn't
No,
really
well,
going
I've
they've
heard
done it all
that
night
producer all night.
I saw the
Yes, so have I.
horrible job he did. He's destroying
'Cause
our
we're radio
country.
professionals,
I would be
Bubba.
very happy
Rest
to
of these
be
clowns
someplace
don't
else.
have the ears we do.
Nobody has the audio chain ear that I do.
That's
Period.
it, baby. You
No
and me.
indictments,
You and me,
no
Bubba. That's it.
Nobody can hear stuff in the background better than I can.
Thinks he can
Yeah,
win.
but I'll challenge you to a long drive competition.
Nobody's ever heard
I gotta have a. You better watch out, Brian. I got a 6 handicap. That's what Biden says. He's got a 6 handicap.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
I mean,
is the biggest lie told of the night.
For
putt
real.
putt, you know.
And putt maybe, right?
That and Trump weighing 205 pounds.
Hold on.
Single court in America said any of your claims had
Bigger
any
lie.
merit. State
Dan,
or
bigger
local.
lie.
None.
Biden 6
But you
handicap, Trump
continue to
205 pounds.
There, it's a punch.
Somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing.
No, see, he's not as wide-eyed though. See, his eyes are kind of.
Yeah, no, he got a hit of something there.
Yeah, something time released and was hit it and quit it.
100%.
Smelling salts up the ass.
I don't know.
It's not enough, though. They didn't give him enough.
We'll be right back.
No, they got
Presidential debate
Another-
live from Georgia.
I thought this was supposed to be fucking over now.
So I got 11 o'clock,
They're
dude.
about to wrap up, I think.
Yeah, they're about to wrap up. It's only
We got 10 minutes. Yeah.
So,
it's okay.
So second half of the debate is kind of a push.
Yeah.
Because Biden has been as bad as we all expected him to be, but a little bit more cognitive, and Trump hasn't answered a single fucking question.
I mean,
Well,
listen.
that's the moderator's fault. You know.
Well, in part, they
should
came
push
back
it.
to him 4 times.
I mean, Shannon, the moderators have came back and did like an end around and said the question was, child care. The question was,
true.
Drug addiction.
Will you opiate? The question was, will you accept the election results? And he's so egotistical and so narcissistic that he can't ever let Joe. If Joe leaves a little hanging Chad over there in his response, Trump can't just say, "Okay, Joe, we know." Okay, and then answer the question. Like I think he should.
Right, but I think he feels like things are so in Joe's favor that some things he wants to bring up that don't come up, and he's got to sneak them in here and there. But I don't agree with the tactic.
He's wrong on that. He needs to realize that he needs to say, you know what he needs to do for the next one? This is all you need to do. For him to nail the next, from this point forward, is his people need to tell him, which they're probably getting, their people up there say, hey, listen, Donald, stop attacking him on the rebuttal. Answer the question. Once you've answered the question, then you can attack if you got any time left. But make sure that you answer the question.
Right. We kind of know that Biden. I mean, that Biden's not calling the shots. Someone there is instructing him or whatever. Is there somebody in Trump's circle that is close enough to call him on the phone?
No,
hey, dude,
no. Nobody can tell him that. Nobody can tell him that.
And that's a little bit of the problem. But
he's like old Bubba. You couldn't tell him shit.
I think I could be that guy.
So I think we all could.
You would do a good job of it, Shannon, and you would deliver it in such a smooth, sultry way that I imagine Trump would.
Plus, you got a little bit of a biker feel about you, so he likes that
He'd
too.
fire you in a second.
And he has a.
That's what you need to be, chief of staff for Donald Trump.
What do you think of my new clothes?
Listen, I met the guy here in Orlando. He has the ability to completely disarm you, and he is on your level, a genuine dude, just like you. Like he's either there in the suit as a former president, or he could be in some coveralls pouring some cement in the foundation. That's kind of the feeling you have with him.
See, Shannon, you're wrong, because I will not put coveralls on. Yeah. I will have that foundation poured for another fucking skyscraper that I'm getting ready to build somewhere.
So, Bubba, real quick, what do you think about the fairness of the debate?
I think it's been fair. I really do.
I have to agree it's been fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think CNN could have done. The only thing I would have done is maybe had the hosts have a little more balls with these two and say, hey, listen.
But then they would have been called unfair.
But they cut their mics.
But then they would have been called unfair if they were interrupting Trump and saying that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
To both. Both of them have skirted. So
show of hands, who won this debate?
Oh, Trump! Trump Trump won it in the first 5 minutes.
Hold on. And Trump didn't necessarily win it by his great positions on everything. Trump won it because Biden fucked it up.
Because Biden lost.
Because
Biden lost. Trump didn't win. Biden lost.
That's the perfect statement. Yeah. Trump won because Biden blew it.
And maybe that's why he didn't go the direction of being so, answering the questions immediately without skirting off to some other issue. Because he knew
he doesn't
that
have to.
He'd already won it.
Right.
He's got to get
you're right.
Right.
They're back now. Here we go.
We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Closing statements right now. Here we go.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience or anyone out watching this debate,
tax me more.
I think the tax system is fair. The fact is that I said,
Dan says I'm already at 40. Maxed out.
The Bubba listeners need to hear about
France,
all
it's like
dinners.
70 in France.
That will be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit, number one. He's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on
11,400 on Twitter.
What I did, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what?
What?
We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400.
Again, Trump. By the way, just a straight fact check. Trump is the one that first got that done. And Brian, you will acknowledge that.
Yes. Biden took it from 35 to 15, and he just fucked up that number.
Right.
By $160 billion over 10 years, because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant
Which
prices.
is about what we gave for Ukraine this month.
That available to every senior all along what's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something
You hear
about
that, Seth?
what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country.
Out of the pipes.
Lead pipe.
I was walking down the street today. Everybody was talking about the lead pipes. You couldn't pass a person who wasn't concerned about it.
2 minutes for your closing statement.
There you go.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah.
That's true.
For terror. No money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. You've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military?
I'm building a space hospital.
Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA.
The soldiers are.
So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden. Stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate. Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett starts now.
Babyface Matroni and Dr. Dan Diaco.
The debate is over.
Stay with us.
Hold on, the debate's over.
See you fuckers tomorrow.
And
Seth's out of here. His idea, his brainchild.
This is a little awkward. Like they're just like still standing there.
Yeah, they're holding their position till the live feed cuts, which is smart. You don't want to walk away. You don't want to do anything. So you hold your position. You look strong, like Biden looked the whole
debate. How the fuck do you know all this?
Now hold on. Now hold on.
President,
how does this dude break it down?
Someone's walking him off.
Biden, the first lady, has come out. Former President Trump walking off the stage. The first debate of the 2024 campaign, and the earliest presidential debate ever now in the books and in front of the voters.
And she just want to let you know the reason why Melania isn't here is because she's really mad at me right now about some shit. You know, the average man out there can identify with me. Things sometimes get a little heated at home, but you know we're working through it. She's gonna be waiting for me in a little negligee. That's right, a real nice negligee. When I get home, she's gonna. We like to celebrate privately. She didn't want to come to Atlanta. She does, Atlanta.
Rough weather Daniels, call me. I'm available.
All
right, hold on.
Biden's shaking hands with all
as
the.
we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party.
And that's from And that's from CNN.
No, it's you cannot. You can't. If anybody's saying otherwise, they're a liar.
And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket.
The way down.
And they're having conversations about what they should do about it.
They're being honest, right?
Some of those conversations include should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside. Others,
Donald Trump.
Other of the conversations are about should prominent Democrats go public.
They're also talking about assassination
because they feel this debate was so terrible.
That's what Trump should have gotten that in. He goes, I just want to let you know my number one concern after fixing the company.
I'm going to tell you right
that
now.
I don't get shot before the election. If I get shot before the election, that guy right there is who did it all. I'm just telling you.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal, fella. Biden is going to claim that there was a medical condition and that he can finish his term, but he can't serve another 4 years.
That's
and he's going to drop out,
he's...
and Gavin Newsom's going to take his place. And I'm telling you right now, Gavin Newsom is a policy dude. Gavin Newsom will out-debate Trump next time. Gavin Newsom will be our next president of the United States of America.
Who's jumping way ahead? Why would you want to replace Biden?
Why?
That's your guy.
Why wouldn't? First of all, he's not my guy.
Hold on.
He was never my guy.
Shannon, I will tell you this. You know why? Because the first thing out of CNN, the first thing out of their mouth post-election was that the Democrat... Hold on. This ain't fucking Fox and Jesse Waters. This is CNN. And the first thing out of what used to be called the Clinton News Network, the first thing out of their talking head's mouth was the Democratic Party is having conversations right now about this dismal performance.
Real quick. This chick is a Biden spokesperson, essentially, and she is trying to spin it on Trump's lies.
That he was not able to take pretty straightforward answers and answer them to the American public, and then also at some points bringing things up that teed up Trump attacks. So there's a real concern here tonight that there's been some real damage done that cannot be undone.
Oh, she's talking about Biden.
Biden solidified the perception among voters, but especially among his base. They were hoping that tonight would be a game changer. They are now seeing a president who is in the White House, who they do not necessarily
They should have waited till after the convention before they had this debate. It's going to be Newsom or Obama. Michelle
Obama wants
to about
Democrat leaders, Democratic leaders
she can't beat him.
Reacting to
No,
this
she can't
poll.
beat him.
We said at the beginning,
Michelle can and Gavin Newsom.
By the way, this is Dave. Hold on, this is David Axelrod. Hold on, David Axelrod.
Energetic, engaged,
and
look like someone who is capable of serving for another 4 years. For president. That was job number one. I actually think he scored a bunch of points. I think if you just judge this on sort of policy stuff, he did score a bunch of points on issues like abortion, for example, on some of the economic issues. But there is a feeling. I think there was a sense of shock, actually, how he came out at the beginning of this debate. How his voice sounded. About he seemed a little disoriented.
This is CNN, by the way.
The debate went on, but by that time.
Axelrod gives Obama a hand job once a week.
$12,000
He's a good guy, though. I like David Axelrod.
Oh, yeah.
Axelrod doesn't like Biden.
Should continue, and I think
he's a
part
communist.
of it is
that's why I like him, Shannon.
So we don't
CCP, baby.
So let's go ahead and wrap this up amongst ourselves and say goodbye to everybody.
No, we're going another hour.
No,
I gotta go to bed.
No, we're not.
Nope, we're just getting started.
Hey.
Don't go anywhere.
Stop.
Can I just say, great? I thought everybody did a great job tonight.
I did too.
Thank you, guys.
First of
Can
all,
I just throw out my Twitter handle? You guys
go ahead, please. Yes.
The Burke Show at The Burke Show. Just
there you go.
That's all you need.
Let's all.
This has been great, Bubba. Thank you.
Let's all go around the room here and take however much time you need. Not too much, Dan.
Please.
And kind of give everybody's opinion. I think I can throw it out there first, and I think every one of us would agree, regardless of what your political position is that the Democrats, no, let's not even talk about the debate, is that right now the Democratic Party is absolutely fucking scrambling and have hit the panic button. When you have CNN, which is basically your handpicked, your handpicked network that, is basically.
What happened tonight that Biden hasn't been doing it for the last 6 months, like all over?
His State of the Union gave a false sense of hope that he could pull up the nose and put it together for 2 hours.
He was able to read.
And clearly, whatever they obviously over-practiced him. His voice was fried.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what? That's a good point.
That's a great point.
He practiced too much. He spoke too much.
Yes.
And
he had no voice left.
He was exhausted.
Brian, great point.
We talking about practice?
Yeah, but you know why? When you practice for 7 days, 10 hours a day,
too much.
You lose your timbre and the way to project your voice.
He had no projection at all.
No, none.
His delivery was weak from the moment he started.
Feeble.
I mean, Brian, the most democratic of all of us, within the first 5 minutes says,
we're
over.
Fucked. It's over.
We're done.
Over the last 50 years, the biggest rock star is the president.
Right.
And that whoever comes on the stage and has the biggest persona on stage traditionally has won the presidency.
So true. Yep.
I mean, Clinton was a rock star. Obama was a rock star.
Reagan
was a rock star.
Bush was a rock star.
And so was Trump when he went up there the first time. And this time, you know, the last election in 2020 was a little bit weird because they didn't really have this kind of chance to have these sort of conversations and dynamics.
Well, and hold on, and Biden wasn't so deteriorated 4 years ago.
And he wasn't so deteriorated. But now there was only one light on that stage. And the other thing was just like an ember that was just smoking and just dying.
So I think what could benefit the Democrats is the juxtaposition between a Gavin Newsom and a Joe Biden. Because in Gavin Newsom, you've got who would end up being the best-looking president of all time, and even Dan can't deny
he's a sexy fella.
He would be the sexiest president ever.
The sexiest communist president.
He is, well, that's fine, but he's articulate. He has such a control and intellect and an ability to break down issues and remember numbers. That's something that Trump's not good at, and Biden is fucking terrible at. And but Gavin Newsom can go up there is be one smooth motherfucker.
Really smooth.
And when you're putting that juxtaposed to the absolute fucking train wreck that was old man Biden tonight, there is no comparison.
Well, certainly Biden doesn't look like he's up to leading the country for another 4.5 years.
I would let him lead a Dairy Queen.
I mean,
fucking awful.
He certainly looks like his days are numbered.
Here's. Go ahead. Sorry.
Please. He looks like his days are numbered. He looks like he doesn't have an understanding or command of the situation. It looks like he's absolutely like reaching for straws. He looked like he just was giving cookie cutter prepared answers. 1, 2, and 3. I mean, it was very, very, very awkward and unnatural. His voice maybe was shot from over practicing, but sounded very weak.
Right.
He looked lost. His eye expressions were like staring off into the distance. He had literally 6 minutes of shining, and the rest of it was a black hole of energy. It was frustrating to watch.
My monster guy, Chad, was watching us, and he said, looked like Babyface was enjoying the Nasty Beast hard tease.
I held him up to the camera about 4 times, but I mean, to our 12.3 thousand viewers on Twitter.
This is
the new monster Nasty Beast. They come in 8% and 6% alcohol, and they are good. Brian, I think you've had what, 2?
Yeah, we'll go with that number.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. Brian and I both had 3.
Inflation has hit the BRN Monster Beast numbers by 33%. Actually, 50%.
Brian, I think you and I both had the same. They're good.
I had all 3 flavors.
Hold on, go ahead, Shannon.
Biden's performance tonight will be egg on the face of everybody in the last 6 months or so who have sworn that, he is the sharpest I've ever seen him. You must, if you're going to meet with Biden, you better prepare because, Mayorkas is like, giving him a hand job. He's the most intense, blah, blah, blah. And we saw this tonight, and even Anderson Cooper is,
They're all on CNN. Not a one of them. Not a one of them is like, man, I mean, not a one of them is, you've not heard this from anybody. Probably not any human being that's either, no matter where your stance is. Man, Biden really, really nailed it. And he was the State of the Union Joe Biden, because Joe Biden, by Joe Biden standards, nailed the State of the Union. He did. He did. No, hold on. By Joe Biden standards, he nailed it. And that's what the Republicans were afraid of. They knew this special concoction that could keep him State of the Union. Man, there's not one person that watched that can intellectually be honest and say, regardless of your political affiliation, and say that Joe Biden came across as presidential at all. I wouldn't let him be the fucking dog catcher.
No, I just think about all the kids in South and Central America and Africa. They're going to be wearing Biden 24 shirts now.
They'll be right next to the Dan Diaco hero shirts.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, do you Dan, your professional opinion, did he look like he was on? Everyone says Adderall. I don't really know anything about Adderall.
I mean, Adderall wakes you up. It does do that, but I don't know what they put him on.
It can't fix.
Look, man, I'm telling you right now, if that dude was on Adderall, we are completely fucked as a nation for the next 8 months, because, or 6 months.
Adderall can't even lift him out of the fog.
If Adderall can't lift him up out of that fog, then nothing can. It's methamphetamine. I mean, that's what it is, Shando.
I had no idea.
You had no clue. But
what Trump should have said, the only thing that's Hitler-like is whatever they're shooting you up with today, because they used to shoot.
Seth,
remember they
what
shot
are your
Hitler.
thoughts?
I want to fucking go pee right now, man. It's been 2 hours. I think that RFK won this fucking debate tonight. Let's wrap it up unless Bubba's canceling the morning show tomorrow.
No, yeah, we gotta go to bed. Yeah, we gotta go to bed.
So for all the new Twitter followers that we have,
please
watch Rumble and Twitter tomorrow for the Bubba the Love Sponge show, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Well, it's also live here too on Twitter.
Right. By the way, follow me on X at The Burke Show.
There you go.
Thank you.
So Shannon,
this has been great fun, guys.
Shannon, what are your plans? What do you got going on, buddy?
What do you mean?
Like, are you doing a daily
I'm
podcast?
Just doing my thing on Patreon at The Shannon Burke Show, and I don't know. There may be some stuff happening with Florida Man. I don't know. I'm just kind of floating out there, and I kind of dig it.
Well, he's got. Hold on. There is a plan. He has a plan. He's working on getting it finalized.
Good, good for you, Shannon, and good luck with that.
Right, Shannon?
Thanks, man.
I mean, that's fair to say.
That is fair to say.
Hold on. You have a plan additional to what you're doing now that you're working out now, I think.
With Florida Man.
Yes.
Yeah, I have that's working, and I got all of a sudden when I'm on the beach, I get calls from everybody to fill in. I'm filling in for WPHT in Philly a bunch of next month and in August. And maybe I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right, my man.
That's
hey,
great. You the best.
You guys
Shando.
are awesome. I love this. This was a great time.
Great idea too, Seth.
Great idea.
Yeah, Seth, great idea.
Thank you.
And if
Thanks for staying up late.
if anyone's injured in a car accident or medical malpractice, call us at 888-SOS-FIRM. And if you need a plastic surgeon anywhere in the country, please call me, 888-DIACOS.
And if you like a funny, beta bitch, 844-ASK Gina, and I'll do your personal injury case. Either way.
Shannon, see you later, my man.
See you guys.
And my Cash App
love
is
you too.
Seth, what's your foot OnlyFans?
All right.
Nice foot Kush.
So,
somebody call this guy an Uber. I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So when do you think, Brian, does it happen at the convention?
No, before then. It will be
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It won't be that quickly. They'll probably wait a month. I think probably sometime end of July, about a month or 3 weeks before the convention.
Man, if you're looking at what I'm saying, I'm seeing the word panicking. I mean, I'm
panic, alarm,
I
scramble.
Wouldn't be panicked.
No, I'm talking about what CNN's saying right now.
You know what your backup plan is.
Hold on, here's CNN. Here's CNN. 1 second.
But other people who really think that there should be an alternative to Trump, who they think is dangerous, and that's the other part of what is unfolding tonight in terms of the panic that is out there.
Guys, you already have, coming into this debate, support for third-party candidates, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. highest, and then Jill Stein and Cornel West nowhere near as close. But if you add it all up, you get into the teens in most states when you do that. I think one byproduct out of this is watch and see if those numbers go up a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to go up anywhere like a...
All right, so anyway.
Right. Well, it opens the door for a JFK Jr.
Well, not really, because Trump's going to always poll 40% minimum. So it doesn't open the door for a JFK Jr. It was a disastrous night for Biden and the Democrats. We'll see if they are smart enough to stop stepping on their own dick and fucking do the right thing, which is to dump this old geriatric fucker who can't put a sentence together and get the smoothest, sharpest-looking motherfucker in a long time
Gavin Newsom.
Up on that stage. Gavin Newsom.
Who's his fucking vice? Doesn't even
matter. Doesn't matter. Vice presidents are irrelevant.
Tulsi.
Does Trump, does he claim victory on this?
He spikes the football. He can. So here's the beauty of it. Trump can have all of his surrogates say all the nasty things that he couldn't say on stage tonight.
Oh,
and that's what they're all
the Jesse Waters.
Right. All the surrogates. Sean Hannity, Jesse Waters, Kylie McNamee, all of them will be
destroying him. Exactly.
Trashing him.
It was a horrible performance.
Actually, it'll be more like a funeral. They will be mourning.
It's so unfair, though, because these Democrats elected Biden as their nominee, and they should be stuck with him, dumbasses.
Well, they haven't picked him yet.
And that's a wrap. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Hope you enjoyed it. Had a huge crowd, Lummy, tonight. Great job, Rhett. Thank you so much for keeping us on the air. It was a scramble for a little bit, but you got it done, my friend. I love you.
Thank you, guys.
See you tomorrow.